Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 3 of TrackWrestling.com's Blue Chip Recruiting Podcast. I'll be your host, Eric Olanowski. Make sure you go to TrackWrestling.com and check out episode number 1 and 2. Episode number 1 will be with the University of Minnesota commit Gable Steveson. Iowa commit Spencer Lee will be on episode number 2, which brings us to episode number 3, where we are here today with Alex Thomsen for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, recently committed this week. But before we get to the interview with Alex Thomsen, let's touch base on some recent commitment news. Most recently, Gavin Hoffman, the two-time PIAA state champion, selects Ohio State over Arizona State, North Carolina State, and Northwestern. For me, my opinion on that, that's great. As a big guy, he's going to have the opportunity to train with two-time Olympian and assistant coach at Ohio State, Tervel Delagnev, and you can't forget about the Olympic champion, world champion, multiple-time NCAA champion, Kyle Snyder, the Buckeye, one of the best in the world, pound for pound. So Hoffman, for me, made the correct decision as a big guy. How do you not go to Ohio State? Because you have to figure with that new facility being built there, Tom Ryan is going to keep Kyle Snyder post-grad, and as he will continue to train at the Ohio RTC. Northwestern decommit Michael Beard selected Penn State to add to their crazy recruiting class of Teasdale, Whitlake, Nevels, and RBY. Roman Bravo Young, still questionable on Roman Bravo Young with the addition of Teasdale. Will Roman Bravo Young stay at Penn State? We will see. From what I've been told, we will find that out after July 1st. We'll move to the New England RTC, where Steve Mocco accepts the head coaching position. And Brown, sticking with Brown, Sal Mastriani has accepted the volunteer assistant position there. We'll jump out to California, Fresno State. Stephen Abbas will take the Fresno State RTC, if that's the correct name for it. He will take the head coaching position there. And, of course, heading back to the Hawkeye Wrestling Club will be Mark Perry, leaving Illinois to take over the Hawkeye Wrestling Club. So great addition for the Hawkeye coaching staff. Not so sure the availability of Mark Perry being in the room during practices. With him being an alum, I know that you can have alums in the room. Could it be every day? I don't think so. So we'll see. But without further ado, let's get to episode number 3, where we have 3-time undefeated Iowa State champion, multiple-time Fargo All-American, and a finalist. Let's meet Alex Thomsen. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to now welcome recent Nebraska Cornhusker commit Alex Thomsen out of Iowa. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, excited for this. So you recently announced your commitment to the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Your top 6 schools: Iowa State, UNC, Oklahoma, Minnesota, and of course Nebraska. A little bit. I mentioned previously that you are from Iowa, so let's first touch. I know everybody is probably asking you, heading out of the state, how does this happen? Such a high-level commit as of yourself. How does Iowa not keep you in the state? Let's touch on that first. Was there any want to stay in the state of Iowa?
You know, I didn't really. I don't know. You know, to be honest with you, I'm actually closer to the Nebraska side. I'm only about 30 minutes from Omaha, and about an hour and a half from Lincoln. So I was definitely a lot closer to Nebraska than I was ever to Iowa State, UNI. You know, I'm about 3 or 4 hours away from them. But, yeah, I don't know. I just, you know, I found Nebraska, you know, a place that fit what I wanted into my style and you know, what I needed. But yeah, I don't know, you know, if they didn't recruit me, you know, Iowa didn't recruit me as hard, you know, as Nebraska did. And same with Iowa State. They came in the game pretty late. And then UNI kind of, started. They were like one of the starting ones, but then they kind of dwindled away, so it wasn't too much there either. So.
And how did your decision, I'm sure, was made up right when you originally received an offer from Nebraska. I'm sure in your head you knew where home was, but with the recent announcement of Mark Perry heading to Iowa, you have the countless number of Iowa coaches heading to Iowa State. At any point during your decision-making process, when those coaching changes were going on, did you ever second-guess yourself? Hey, maybe I could be looking at Iowa or Iowa State?
Yes and no. I mean, yes, I kept my options open with them. I didn't close, any doors. Dresser from Iowa State picked up the recruiting process that Jackson and the Paulson twins left, and he came down and visited me at my high school and said hi and stuff. And so he definitely tried to make that initial contact as early as he could. But he was about 5 or 6 months too late. Into the recruiting process, just because he got in there, and he had to start branching out and trying to put his kids in his spots. But yeah, I mean, the coaches, with all those changes, I wasn't second guessing myself, but I was definitely keeping my eyes open. I didn't commit full on say I want to go to Nebraska. It was 2 weeks ago is when I first told Snyder, and then we kind of kept it, down low. And so I've been everything before that, all options were open, and I wasn't leaning towards any sides. I was just, keep my eyes open and looking. But towards the end, I was like, you know what, I definitely see myself, at Nebraska, and this is the place for me. But yeah, with all those new coaches coming in, it was impressive, to see those colleges pick up, Perry, and then that whole new staff that Dresser put in. That was really impressive. And so, the state of Iowa hopefully can come back on the rise, but I'm full on Nebraska now, so.
That's great to hear. Before we jump to the Nebraska side of things, I mentioned UNC, Oklahoma, Minnesota. So you have Zach Sanders at Minnesota, 4-time All-American. As a lightweight coach, you're going to be projected 125 or 133, depending on your growth. And you have at UNC, you have Coleman Scott, Tony Ramos, and at Oklahoma, you have Lou Roselli. So anywhere that you would have went would have been a great decision for a lightweight as yourself. But you mentioned Coach Brian Snyder, the associate head coach, 4-time All-American, 2-time finalist for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Of course, Coach Mark Manning and Jason Powell. Jason Powell, an NCAA champion in 2004 for the Cornhuskers. What did that mean to you? You mentioned Brian Snyder. So this coaching staff, how much did that play into the role, having a guy like Brian Snyder, who you previously worked with, and Jason Powell, NCAA champion, especially at 125? How much did that play into this?
The relationship with the coaches was a major factor in choosing. And, I had, an amazing, recruiting relationship with Roselli down in Oklahoma. Me and him, we clicked pretty well too. Minnesota was the same. Me and Slater were going, and Becker was there too. So I was, talking to those guys. And then Coleman Scott was at our state tournament and stuff. And so, I got to, meet him a little bit and, say hi and stuff. But yeah, it was definitely a major I don't know if you'd say key, for the coaching, but I definitely I think I put myself into a great position, to have success and to grow as a wrestler under Manning and Snyder and Powell. And just, me and Snyder had, I think I've said this on, I don't know how many countless interviews, that I've had, me and Snyder, we had a really good relationship and stuff. And then they started, a year or two ago, they started, like, before I had all these accolades and other stuff, but they definitely started before. So I've had a solid relationship with them for, 2 to 3 years now. And so when I made that decision, I definitely felt like it was the right one, just because, I felt comfortable around them. They were like family already. It was, it's hard to explain, but if you're there to see it, you don't understand what I'm talking about.
You speak of family. Joe Stevens, Underwood's coach, also wrestled for Nebraska. How much did he play a role? Was he pushing you, nudging you, saying, "Hey, you could be a Cornhusker. Look at all these schools you want to. I know what it's like to wrestle for Nebraska." Did he have a big role in this?
I've actually, you're not the first one to ask this question, but what my answer was to that would be no. He did not push me to be a Husker. He wanted me to seek as many opportunities as I could and open my eyes to the world, And obviously, with him and Snyder being really good buddies and Manning, they were able to, come in and stuff. And so I was around the Nebraska people a lot. And Joe would get us into duels and stuff, and we'd be able to see them and stuff. So I don't know if he played a role, but he definitely gave me the opportunities, but he was the one where, he's the guy that says, I'm not going to be the one, to persuade you to go anywhere. And he's like, that's not me. I'll never be like that. And this was right after this, like the first, like when the first day opened, he texted me, this long paragraph and was like, I don't want to be an outside influence. I don't want you to go to Nebraska, just because of me. He goes, I want you to find a place that is going to fit you for you and a place that you can see yourself succeeding. And so, no, I wouldn't say that he pushed me at all. But yeah, he was definitely excited when I said I committed. I walked into the wrestling room and I was like, well, I'm going to Nebraska. And he was all smiles. So he was, I think in the back of his mind, he was like, yes, please go to Nebraska. But he was the one that always straight up to my, he would talk straight to me and say, hey, you know what? This is you. This is not me. I've already been through this, but I'll give you tips on what to do during the recruiting process. So yeah, he was a big help, but yeah, he didn't really persuade me a whole lot.
I want to jump back to something you said. They believed in you before you had the accolades. So kind of that, day one, as the kids call it nowadays. They've been with you since day one, the Nebraska coaching staff. How did that feel, just knowing, coming from my point of view, I was a 2-time state runner-up, and one of the only schools that looked at me was Delaware State before they cut their program. And I had went on to win Super 32, the Beast of the East, all the biggest tournaments in the country, and I had signed to them, and I felt loyalty because since day one they believed in me. They didn't care I was a state runner-up. You go on to be a 3-time state champion right now, searching for your 4th. But what did that mean for them to be, quote, day one?
It was like a sign of, I guess you could say, a sign of respect to them because, they didn't know. I was kind of a wild card. I won my first one, and there was still that, that kind of atmosphere of doubt. Can he do it again? Was that first year fluke? Did he just catch West in the second round? Maybe he got lucky. And there was a bunch of those questions arising, and obviously there is when you have your chance to go for your second and then your third and so forth. But yeah, it was nice knowing that they were there since day one. They'd been through 2 or 3 years of recruiting, and they were, it looks like, they were putting in the effort and I was putting in the effort. And so it was, equally balanced. I didn't want to go to a college that I was chasing, I wanted it to be equal and, we saw eye for eye. And so, yeah, it was nice having them as the day one, as you would call them.
So something, there's a bunch of areas. I don't want to hold you for too long, but, looking at the lineup, you guys have Chris Williams, Jay Rent, Chad Redd, you. Do you see yourself as 125, 133, or where do you see yourself?
Yeah, I'm about the same size as my parents. I'm getting past them, growing past them now. And so I know I'm not going to get very much bigger than I already am, but I definitely see myself as a 25. And I told myself at the start that I'll probably be a 33 or 41, but I might have to live with the fact that I'm going to be a 25 for a while. But,
Sorry, go ahead.
But I wrestled down at 26 for my last year, and I felt solid down there, and I just got to put more muscle on, and then get a little leaner, and then I'll be a solid 25 pounder. So
who are you most excited out of those three guys to get in there and really roll around with? I mean, you can learn a lot from all of those guys, but I mean, I'm sure you have some excitement to train with one of them.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely Trent Renteria, his style of attacking and always trying to score, matches with mine too. So I feel like we're going to be that saying, iron sharpens iron or whatever it is. I feel like we're going to be that, and there was this poster or whatever that, me and him could lead the, Nebraska's future. And so that was pretty cool knowing that, me and him could, side by side, definitely make a big impact in the Big Ten and obviously at the NCAA tournament. So.
And you mentioned moving forward at Nebraska, the UWW Junior World Team Trials are coming up, and what you will be competing for a World Team spot, correct?
Yes. Yep.
And are you going to be wrestling at 55?
Yep, 55.
So most likely finals matchup between Dayton Fix. That will be in Lincoln, Nebraska. So you have a chance to wrestle at Nebraska in a couple of weeks. How cool is that going to be?
I didn't really think about that until I committed, and I was like, wow, I've kind of, totally spaced on World Team Trials being held at the Devaney Center, and so I was excited. Hopefully there'll be some more crowd support behind me, since this little commitment thing. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting to wrestle in there. And I wrestled there. I wrestled there back in like 7th grade, I think, for Iowa versus Nebraska. I think it's called like Combine Clash or something. We did like a little duel versus duel, and then Iowa and Nebraska wrestled their college duel. I think the mat over, and so yeah, it should be really fun. I'm excited to try and make a world team and hopefully go on and win a title. So
aspirations to be, I'm sure, an Olympic and a world champion. How much did that play into your decision looking at Jordan Burroughs and James Green, both being elite level athletes, world medalists, Olympic medalists for Jordan Burroughs? How much did that play into your decision after college training?
I mean, Snyder and Manny both had that international experience, and obviously so has Burroughs and Green. So I feel like after college, I'll definitely be in good hands. With the what is it, WTC, I think is what it's called, Nebraska Wrestling Training. Yeah, that sounds right. But yeah, I think I'll be in very good hands after college as well. So that was another. I think that definitely was another factor played into it. They'd support you, after college, and if you're planning on going and trying to make world teams, Olympic teams, they'll still be there behind you, coaching you every step of the way. So.
You touched on Jordan Burroughs. You mentioned him. I did see that he tweeted you some congratulatory tweet. That must have been pretty cool for you to open up your Twitter and see Jordan Burroughs mentioning you.
I looked at that, and actually I didn't look at it. I think one of my friends texted me and told me, and I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, right, I've met the guy a couple times. I went down last week to a regional training center and stuff, and I talked to him and stuff, and so I've been around him for a little while, but it was pretty cool to see him congratulate me. So I was definitely felt good inside.
Yeah, we're going to have to get on James Green. I just actually, while I was waiting to do this, I went on James Green's Twitter, and he has a bunch of tweets, some about different stuff, nothing about the commitment. So I will push him after this. Let's get a congratulatory tweet. A lot of things, or a lot of different sports nowadays have this. I'm blessed to receive an offer from X and X school. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, I always watch, Piles and the Flow Wrestling crew. I always watch them kind of, make fun of that and stuff. And, that's definitely something that I don't think should be, a part of, I guess I think this is just the way I think, I guess. But I think you shouldn't be out there, flaunting what you're getting, because, it's just not what I would do. I wasn't big into telling people where I was getting recruited from, who or what, so I guess there's different views on it, but I definitely side with the view that I don't think that, people should do that. But I guess I'm not, a big public figure to be persuading anybody not to do it. But, I don't know. I just I'd keep the offers quiet if it was me, just giving advice out to people that are getting recruited. I wouldn't flaunt anything. If people ask where you're getting recruited from, if you feel comfortable, I guess tell them. But, I just played mine quiet. I didn't want a whole lot of attention when it came to the recruiting process, just because, this is me trying to find where I want to go when I get older, or when I graduate, actually. But, I just don't think that it needs to be known to every person out there that I just blessed to receive another one. I don't know. I guess you can mock it, but it's just not something that I would do. So,
not your style. Well,
no.
That's good to hear. I'm kind of on the same page, but I like to hear other people's opinions, and I don't always think that mine's right, and I could be persuaded to think otherwise. But that's all I have for you. Where can our fans follow you on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff?
Let's see. My Twitter is it's just at Thomsen Alex 3, and then I post a good amount on Instagram. It's _Thomsen 3, and then my Facebook is just Alex Thomsen. I'm not on Facebook a lot. I'm just on there for the parents, so my parents can tag stuff, and so that's what I have Facebook for. But Instagram and Twitter is usually where I throw my stuff up at. So.
Well, I just want to thank you. 139-0 right now. So you will be looking to, depending on Teskey, you'll either be the 7th or 8th person to win 4 state championships going undefeated. Good luck with that. We wish you the best of luck at the Junior World Team Trials. And I guess now it would be your home arena. So congratulations on everything you've accomplished, and we wish you the best of luck. For everybody here at Track Wrestling, make sure you go to iTunes and you click the subscribe button. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff at Track Wrestling. I've been your host, Eric Olanowski, for Alex Thomsen, signing off. Thank you very much.
This show is part of the Matt Talk Podcast Network. For more wrestling podcasts, head over to MattTalkOnline.com.